Tom here, Flip Anything. So we're going to talk about contingency periods. And the reason I'm even bringing this topic up is because I'm in the middle of not the middle actually, I'm at the end of a contingency period. Okay, contingency periods. Basically, a contingency period is a period of time that gives a buyer a way out. In other words, they're going to buy your property contingent on another property they own selling. Okay, that's kind of, and maybe they'll set a date. And that contingency period is a 30-day period or a 60-day period. Now, I've been paying a lot of cash for properties, so usually when I make a contingency period, it's somewhat floating, meaning I'll say contingent on approval of clear title or a title report. I make it a little more ambiguous for me, gives me a little more room to pull out if I think so, but it kind of covers everything. So I'll say, I'm going to buy this contingent on my approval of a title report. And then that's my way of kind of saying, by the time I get this title report approved, I'll know if I want the property. I'll be doing other checks too. In other words, I'll be looking at whether or not whether I like the property for one reason or another. And I got my boys with me. They're about to hop in the car. But so to give you an example, I'm on the selling end of a contingency period right now, and what that means to me is I gave these guys till Wednesday, which is 2 days ago, to satisfy themselves with the inspection. I said, I'm selling you this property as is, but you can have a full-blown inspection done, have everything checked out, and if you don't like it, you can cancel Wednesday. Well, they went through the contingency period would have expired Wednesday, but they get there and realize the gas isn't on. Well, the house has been sitting empty while I've been redoing it and cleaning it up. I never even turned the gas on, never even thought about it. So, but I did put a new water heater in there, and one of the forced air units, there's two in this house, it was a gas one. So their inspector could not test the gas. And so they asked, can we extend this contingency period till Friday, which is today? And I said, sure, no problem. So I wrote an amendment, or they wrote an amendment, and I signed it. Okay, we're extending it till Friday. I had the gas turned on, and so they got their inspection, they got everything done, the gas works, everything's cool, they're happy with that. They did come back and they said, and this is something, take a note of this, Federal, F-E-D-E-R-A-L, Federal. Federal is a company that used to exist, I don't think they exist anymore, but they made panels, kind of like Square D. Square D is like the best, one of the best. I'm talking about breakers and electric panels are made by Federal. I'm sorry, not by Federal, by Square D. And there's some other good ones too. But Square D is like an industry standard, very well respected. Well, Federal had come out with a panel and breakers that were substandard, and they were determined to not be very good at all. And so generally, if you see a Federal panel, it's a warning sign, right? And so they had noticed that I had a Federal panel in this property, so they came back, they said everything's cool, everything's clean, everything's clear, except we'd like you to spend $2,800 and replace the Federal panel. Now, what they didn't know was that the Federal panel is not the problem, it's the breakers that are the problem. And so they just saw the Federal panel, they didn't realize I'd already had all those breakers replaced by UL approved breakers that that are not Federal. They're not the brand Federal, but they're UL approved. So it's a completely safe panel. So I wrote them back and I said, no, I won't replace it, but it's not an issue, I don't believe, because all the breakers in there are UL approved and meet code and that sort of thing. So they have their contingency expires today. So I said, no, I'm not going to do anything. I sold this to you as is, but as is still good because this isn't a problem. And so after today, if they don't cancel, then we call that they've gone hard. They've got past their contingency period, meaning their money's gone hard, meaning now they can lose their deposit. I'll keep their deposit if they back out after today. So that's what a contingency period is for. It's to allow somebody an amount of time so that they can perform as agreed, meaning close the deal. Maybe it means sell their house so they have the money to close the deal, or in this case, they want to make sure that the house is clean and nice and that they like it, and then they'll close the deal. And usually in my case, what I do is I just make it about my approval of the title report. After 10 days after it's issued, that's kind of floating. I know that generally when we go into escrow, they don't already have the title report approved and clear, then what's going to happen is it'll be done within 5 days, and then I'll usually give myself 10 days to approve it. And but while have this period to approve the title report, what I'm really doing mostly, I'm checking the title, of course, but what I'm really doing is I'm just making sure that that property's sound. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to make sure that there's no surprises, the roof's good, this, that, and just kind of tabulate what it's going to cost me to fix it up a little bit and get it back on the market. But I always make, because I only look at property I want to buy, and I only buy property that I'm buying under market. So it's simple. If I make a deal to buy a property, it's because it's a great deal. So I make the contingency period very reasonable and very short, just because, unless it's complicated and I really have some things I need to look through, like maybe I want to rezone it, or maybe I want to do something, or there's some question mark. That will happen sometimes, but in general I make it pretty simple. So anyways, I'll be past the contingency period today, and at that point they'll be very committed. They can still back out, but they'll lose their $4,000 deposit, and they'll lose their $300, what we call good faith money, that they also put up. So it's a good place to be. It's closer to having this thing closed. And I found out I owe $30,000 on that property. I knew it was between 5 and 60. Turned out it was 30. So $435,000, at least 405, 4.5% commission. There's another $16,000, $17,000. So it sounds like I'm going to have a net $483,000 roughly, or $487,000 right in there. I'm sorry, $387,000, and that will go into a 1031. So now what I'll do come Monday, make sure that they're not backing out and everything's cool. I'll go ahead and get a 1031 accommodator involved, and so that the funds will transfer into an accommodator account, and that money will sit there, and I can buy something else tax deferred. Won't have to pay taxes on that profit until a later date, because I'll roll it into the new property that I buy, which I have not picked out yet. So once that's done, then what I'll do, the other thing I'll do Monday is, or maybe I'll even do it today, is I'll call staging. This is a house that I had staged. It cost me $1,000 a month to have this, furnished and to look like it's lived in, makes it look cool. I'll have all that stuff yanked, so I stop paying for that staging bill, and other than that, I'll probably encourage the buyers to go ahead and get the utilities put in their name right now, and if they do, then I'll go ahead and pull the sign, and because I have other people interested, I have people that want to make a backup offer, people that want to offer a little bit more, and I don't care that they want to offer a little bit more. Like I've said in the last video, I don't care about squeezing every cent out of the deal. What I care is that I'm giving somebody a good deal. I like giving a good deal, because giving a good deal kind of gives me the peace of mind that it's going to close. So it allows me to feel a little better about looking up, and then I go tie up a property. Because I might go tie up a property without a contingency period, but I'm still really counting on this money, because a lot of people don't like the idea that it's contingent on you selling something else. So that's what's going on, and with a little luck, I'll have this thing, I'll get past the contingency period tonight, and I'll start be counting that money a little bit. No deals for certain. It isn't done till it's done, but I'm looking, and that's my intent, is go find something, and like something about $1.5 million. which I've already called my banker, and one of my bankers, and said, hey, look, I'm going to probably need another $1.2 million for something that I'll buy, and I'll put 25% down on. And so they're kind of getting that in mind for me, and that's it. They're going to give me a quote on interest rates, and I might shop them a little bit because I want the best deal. And but that's what's happening. So also, if you just tuned in, you know, you can go get my free app, which actually I've been playing with my app today. I'm looking at some little houses. I'm trying not to fall in the trap. I'm trying not to buy up little houses with the money that I got right now. I really want to save it for a bigger deal. In fact, I'm actually looking at a building right now that I could have bought for $3.5 million, which at the time I wasn't crazy about. That's a 50,000 square feet building. It's a big building. And now I'm starting to think, you know, that wouldn't be too bad. So that's it. So anyways, the other thing I was going to tell you, go to SpiffMe, spiffme.com, or go to SpiffMe in iOS and you know, wherever you get your Android stuff. I have Apple, so I'll be going to the App Store. But download SpiffMe. Check it out. Check it out. This is a good way to make some money, and I'll have actually an account in there pretty soon. Basically, that's like, I'll pay a $5,000 referral fee if you send me something that's worthwhile that I close on, and if I can assume a contract, you know, I might even pay you more, I might pay you less, just depends on the deal, and whether or not I want it, of course. But it costs you nothing, and there's other ways you can make a lot of money with it, and you can actually bring a lot of business. Whatever your business is, whatever you do to make your bread and butter right now, SpiffMe is a great way to bring more business to yourself. So be sure to download that. And that's it for now. FlipAnythingUSA. Hope to be showing you the new building that I'm going to be buying next. So that's it. Take care, and be sure to share and subscribe. We hit 2,000 followers today. Milestone. Took way longer than I thought it'd take, but that did happen today. So anyhow, that's it. Take care, and happy hunting and all that other good stuff. Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I enjoy sharing it with you. So be sure to get the app. If you don't have it already, you can get it free on Android, or pay $20 to get it in iOS. It'll be the best money you ever spent. It'll take you further along. You'll be able to share and catalog your properties, and it'll just make you a better, more organized investor. Thanks for watching.